welcome to your new moon solar eclipse Tarotscopes for December 14th, 2020. The solar eclipse on December 14th, 2020 is a new moon, but much more powerful. Eclipses have a tendency to close out chapters in our lives and push us toward our destinies. In this video, we shall discuss which life area the eclipse is likely to affect you based upon your sign and or rising sign. So let's get started. Aries, this new moon solar eclipse will be transiting your 9th house of expansion. So the 9th house, this is all about your philosophy. This is all about your belief system. It's also about you expanding as much as possible. When we go through a 9th house transit, it's all about experiencing yourself all around the world. So you can do this by maybe publishing or broadcasting. So you are literally everywhere, like in all 4 corners of the world is experiencing you. This could also be about you exploring the different facets of the world and allowing yourself to enjoy foreign travel or foreign languages or foreign cuisine, just anything that allows you to feel like you're growing and expanding. Additionally, this is the house of philosophy. It's really about your belief system. So now would be a really, really great time for you to make those major moves into a course of study that will expand your mind and broaden your horizons. Overall, Aries, this solar eclipse new moon is about changing your life philosophy, which is going to result in your expansion. So let's see what card you get for your new moon solar eclipse, Aries. What does Aries need to know? New moon solar eclipse. What does Aries need to know? 4 of Wands. So this is an amazing card. It's like Thanksgiving. You get 4 wands, and wands have to do with passion, right? So when you have 4, that's a stable number. So you're solidifying your passion. You're allowing yourself to ground what makes you really, really excited. And that can be more work in fields that are really exciting for you. It's also about really stabilizing and allowing yourself to enjoy Thanksgiving. So the 4 of Wands, it's really like when you're, a kid and you see this birthday cake coming your way, all lit with candles. And it's just this high as a kite feeling. And that's the feeling that you're going to get with 4 of Wands. With this card, there's going to be not just Thanksgiving, but like victory parties and victory celebrations. So there's going to be some really great stuff for you to celebrate. With this card too, it's important for you to remember that en route into making something work, to celebrate your victories, celebrate your successes, because that's going to create momentum for you. No matter how small your achievements are on a day-to-day basis, be sure to celebrate them. But this card is really very, very good. It's going to be important for you to allow yourself to move into areas that are very exciting, but to also solidify things, to create something, some kind of structure. So it's a 4, right? So this could be anything. It could be a manuscript. It could be a book. It could be anything that really solidifies and gives your passion definition. That's what you can expect over the next 6 months with the new moon solar eclipse. So enjoy it. Taurus. So the new moon solar eclipse is going to be hitting your 8th house of shared resources, of rebirth, of transformation, and of intimacy. So this is a time that it's going to be a little bit intense. Like things are really going to be shaking up for you in a very, very good way over the next 6 months. Tauruses, especially baby Tauruses, those who were born, say, up until the, 27th of April, they've been going through a lot with Uranus in there on their sun. And that's just creating a lot of change lately. So with the 8th house, which is all about death and rebirth and metamorphosis, at this point, you're sort of like, what else you got? Like, what else can you do? What else? You've been through hell and back. Your world has been completely rocked, but now is the time in which you're going to be really able to gain from that letting go, that letting go, that metamorphosis, that truth in your heart. And that is going to be what catapults you to the next level over the next 6 months. In a lot of respects, this 8th house transit, it's about shared resources. It's about sharing what you have with somebody else, and also allowing yourself to transform and allow yourself to grow. This is a really great time for investments. It's a really great time to combine resources with other people. It's definitely a time to let go and to remember that change is stability. This is an 8th house transit. There usually is going to be some change whenever we go through an 8th house transit. There's usually something we have to let go of. But again, change is stability. And if you go with the flow of the next 6 months, there's going to be some really great things ahead. Tauruses love holding on to things. And the 8th house transit is weird for a Taurus because Taurus rules the 2nd house, which is about holding on to what you have. And the opposite of the 2nd house, or the opposite of Taurus as well, is Scorpio, as well as the 8th house, which is the transit you're going through now. So what this means is that you Tauruses are so used to holding on that in order to balance yourselves, you have to go through scorpionic or 8th house things, which are really about letting go. So let's see what card you get for your new moon solar eclipse Taurus. It's transiting your 8th house. 6 of Cups. Sorry, 6 of Swords. Swords, not Cups. I wish it was Cups. I mean, it's an 8th house transit, and that does refer to Cups, so we could look at it that way. But this is 6 of Swords. So 6 of Swords is about the journeyman who is taking what looks like his child and his wife across the troubled waters over here into better shores, calmer waters. The ferryman, the child, and the woman can be likened to the body, mind, and spirit, your body, mind, and spirit, and how you're moving from these rough waters into calmer seas. So this is a time in which you are definitely going through a transition. It's going to be also important for you during this time to let go of the old thoughts. Think of, Swords thoughts that are not conducive to your goals and your overall well-being. The 6 of Swords is very much about innovation, doing things in a very different way, having a certain level of clarity, and really detaching from the past in order to go into a better future. So this card is suggesting that you allow yourself to not just move forward and leave certain things behind, but to leave the ideas and the thoughts and the notions that are no longer serving you behind too. This is really in a lot of respects about thinking in a different way. All the changes that wind up taking place, they all take place in the consciousness first. So if somebody, for instance, loses weight, before they lost the weight, they've lost the weight in their brain, like they've lost the weight in their psyche. So there's always a change in consciousness, a change in the psyche before that change actually takes place in reality, in which we can see it. So keep in mind that the changes that you want to make over the next 6 months, they really start with the thought. And they really start in a lot of respects with your beliefs as well, which is really, a belief is just a thought you keep thinking. So keep thinking in the way that serves you. And most important during this time, move away from things that don't serve you, but especially those thoughts that don't serve you, and start thinking those things that are going to help you to create what it is that you want. Because remember, anything that you're going to create first starts with you creating it in consciousness. I hope you have a wonderful solar eclipse, new moon, Taurus. Gemini. So this new moon solar eclipse is hitting your 7th house of partnerships. Sagittarius is, of course, your opposite sign. So this solar eclipse is very much about the partners in your life. If you are looking for someone, this could be the eclipse that actually makes that happen. If you are wanting to take things to another level with a partner, this is also a really great time for that. If things have been rocky, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes an eclipse can eclipse somebody out of our lives. The whole purpose of being in a relationship is that you're stronger as a 2 more so than you would be as a 1. But if you find yourself weaker as a 2, it's kind of stupid to stay as a 2 if you're stronger as a 1. So just make that distinction. Are the partners that you have in your life, are they making you stronger? Are they making you happier? Are they empowering you? Because if they're not, then this eclipse is probably going to push them out of your life. And I certainly don't think that's a bad thing. Overall, though, you want to look at how you can gain and empower yourself with this eclipse through partners, and how you can empower your partners. And if you're not in a relationship, or you also have an audience, this eclipse is very important for that too. The 7th house has to do with the other in your life. So it could be about your audience if you're an author or a personality, or even somebody who has a team that depends on you. So this is all about the other in your life and how you can catalyze great changes for your partnerships, for yourself and the others in your life, and really allow yourself to be truly enriched come springtime. So let's see what card you get, Gemini, for your new moon solar eclipse. Four of Pentacles. So this is really interesting. This is very, very fascinating card to get in light of your 7th house transit that you're going through. So the 4 of Pentacles, this is really about holding on to what you got. If we notice over here, the dude has pentacles underneath his feet, and he's holding one here, and there's one above his head. So, you know, in some respects, somebody might say that this guy's a little bit too like greedy and too stubborn. So in some ways, if you're being too stubborn and obstinate and being so closed off, then that's not going to help your relationships. That's not going to help your partnerships. You want to allow yourself to be open and to share and to be flexible. By the same token, when you get 4 of discs in a reading, or 4 of Pentacles, as it's called, you want to at times hold on to what it is that you have. So just because you're going into a relationship, or just because you're catering to this new audience, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't protect what you have. Ideally, in a partnership, you're going to allow what you have to flourish and grow. But if there's any concern on whether or not a partnership that you're going into, either personal or professional, could put you in a disadvantageous position, please be careful. This eclipse does have Neptune influencing it, and Neptune can be somewhat deceptive. So definitely look over things extremely carefully. Read the fine print. But overall, what we're talking about with this card is to be flexible if you've been too stubborn, and to hold on to what you have if you've been too naive, or if you're being too naive. So keep that in mind. I hope you're a wonderful new moon solar eclipse, Gemini. I will see you soon. Cancer. So this new moon solar eclipse is hitting your 6th house. So the 6th house has to do with health as well as work. Essentially, it's your lifestyle, what you do, like how you know, what time you go to sleep at night, what time you wake up. Do you exercise in the morning? Do you have a piece of toast? What do you do for work? Do you like your work? Do you get enough time off? Do you get to take a break for lunch? What do you do after work? How do you sleep? What do you eat? It's all about getting your body and your life really to run like a well-oiled machine. So this new moon solar eclipse could very likely affect work, in that if you're looking for a new job, then this is the solar eclipse that you will definitely make some strides between now and the next 6 months. Likewise, changes to your job are highly likely, and they're going to be empowered should you be in the right job. You know, just like solar returns, or excuse me, Saturn returns, you know, these solar eclipses, if you're en route to your destiny, you're going to get bumped to where it is that you need to go. But if you're, you know, really dancing below the ceiling, meaning if you're doing work that's beneath your capacity, or that you just hate, or you're just collecting a paycheck, just phoning it in with no excitement in your life, and you could be doing so many more important things with your time and energy, then this eclipse might bump you out of your job and put you into something else. But if you are happy in your job and you know it's the best course of action for the time being, then you should see some really great changes. And if you're looking to change your job, well, this solar eclipse is really good for that. Likewise, the 6th house also pertains to health and getting our bodies to run like a well-oiled machine too. So it's extremely practical. We are earthy beings. We are here to enjoy our flesh. And the better you feel, the more perfect you feel physically, the more efficient your body is going to run, the better your work will be, the easier it will be for you to get your work done. And part of all of this is about balance, right? The 6th house, in a lot of respects, it being about your lifestyle, it's about finding the right combination of things to make you well or happy. With the health stuff, this could be a really great time for you to really move forward with a self-improvement program. Maybe it's diet or some new exercise regime, anything that makes you feel as perfect as possible. And that's really key with 6th house health stuff. It's all about feeling perfect, feeling as perfect as possible. Oftentimes with the 6th house, we can be very perfectionistic, and we might want to, you know, look perfect or do a perfect job at work. But instead, what you want to do is you want to try to clock the feeling of feeling perfect physically, or feeling as if you did a really, really great job, however you might do that. So let's see, Cancer, what you get, what card you get for your new moon solar eclipse that's transiting your 6th house. Wow. Well. You're just like the cat who ate the canary here with 9 of cups. So this is called the wish card. We notice this dude over here, he has his 9 cups and he's sitting there all, what is the word? A little glib, right? He's like, look at all my cups, look what I achieved. So this is called the wish card in the tarot. Whatever you've been truly wishing for, you will get it over the next 6 months with this eclipse. So, you know, this could be in reference to your 6th house, you know, just having that lifestyle that is just so you, and it's just so perfect, and having everything really working out beautifully, loving your work, loving your body, enjoying your work, enjoying your body. That's really what the the 9 of cups would pertain to under a 6th house transit. So this is really about you allowing yourself to be in a state of ecstasy. And that is really, I think we often forget, the nature of really our truest selves. You know, you are part of the divine spark of infinite creation, of pure ecstasy. That is your home, where it is that you really came from. So this card is really about allowing yourself to really indulge, like really enjoy your body, really enjoy your work. Because if you allow yourself to enjoy it, the universe is going to be like, yeah, this is what your life is supposed to be about. It's about pleasure. It's about self-satisfaction and even indulgence. The only negative with this card is to make sure that you are wishing for the right things, like our fairy tale lessons, as they say, like be careful what you wish for, you might get it. But this card is also about just making sure that you're not doing too much of anything in particular. The 9 of Cups can be very indulgent. So just balance things so you can maintain this sense of happiness. And that is the key word for you, happiness. So follow your bliss, Cancer. Enjoy your body, enjoy your work. And I'm so excited for you. This is such a beautiful card and you deserve it. Talk to you soon. Bye. Leo, hi. Happy new moon solar eclipse in your 5th house. It's hitting your 5th house, which actually is the house that your sign rules. The 5th house is all about things that you really, really, really love. It's about pleasure. It's called the house of pleasure. And in a lot of respects, it's about creativity. The 5th house pertains to children because that's something that you're creating. And it also can pertain to work that you wind up doing. You're creating. Leo energy, as well as the 5th house, is about joy and strength exercised. So it's about enjoying your power, enjoying your passion, and in a lot of respects, creating and getting pleasure from the creations that you make. Even when, Leos tell a joke or they tell a story, they get pleasure out of it because they're in the process of creating. They're in the process of giving of themselves only what they can give. And the same thing with children. That's why Leos are so proud of their children, because their children represent creations, things that they've created. And yes, at times they do see their children as things. But in any case, it really is about you allowing yourself to enjoy your creativity, to enjoy your passion, to enjoy the expression of your energy. The 5th house is about romance too. It's all about having fun, doing things that you really, really love. So this eclipse could be very much about you allowing yourself to really just fall in love with your life. And the 5th house also pertains to true love. It's interesting. Partnerships, like getting married, is a 7th house thing, but true love is a 5th house thing, the transit that you're going through now and the house that your sign rules. It's sort of funny, but we could conceivably have true love with somebody who would make a lousy partner. With this in mind, this is a transit for you that's much more about romance and dating. And of course, ideally, the person that we have a lot of fun with and that we date and that we just really enjoy and do fun things with, ideally that would become our partner. And then you go to the 6th house to make sure that your lifestyle works with them. And the 7th house is when you get married or develop a really strong partnership. But this is a transit for you that's more about play and more about dating and more about, being sort of like a teenager. Think of yourself, your senior year or your junior year in high school, and you're going away to college, and you're not gonna, hold on to someone that's going to, keep you from exploring more of the world, meeting new people. Like, you're probably not going to do that. You're probably going to have fun with that person, but you're going to, keep it loose unless you feel that it's something that's so substantial that you really feel you'd be better with than without. So this is a transit for you to really just have fun, to really enjoy your creativity, your passion, and to allow yourself to consider that concept of true love. True love really doesn't pertain to a contract. It doesn't pertain to commitment. It's about play. It's about having fun. So let yourself play over this transit. Over the next 6 months, you're probably going to find yourself really allowing yourself to enjoy your life more than ever before. You may, in fact, find true love. You may have a child. That is a huge aspect of the 5th house. So if you've been looking to get pregnant, or you want your spouse to get pregnant, then this is the transit that may make that happen. But it's all about fun, doing things that you really, really love, Leo. So I hope you enjoy your new moon solar eclipse. Let's see what card you get. Ace of Wands. So this is essentially a phallus. It is. So the Ace of Wands is, it is a wand. It's the wand of fire, but it's an ace. So that means that you have to do something. So think of our example of this being a phallus, right? Think of it as like a natural part of nature that really just happens, right? That's what the Ace of Wands is. It's just this natural sense of enthusiasm, of passion. It's very, very, very real. But it's an ace, which means that you have to do something, that it's a very raw energy. You could say with this Ace of Wands that I'm going to clean my house cleaner than it's ever been, ever. Or I'm going to use this Ace of Wands and I'm going to publish my novel. Or you're going to, you know, allow yourself to become, you know, head of the cheerleading team. Whatever it is that you want, you can put this ace toward, but it's going to be up to you. You're going to have to make that decision where you want to put your passion, your fire, and your energy. But this card suggests that you have a new beginning in your life around passion, what really lights you up, what makes you super excited. And then with the Ace of Wands, you're able to really put it toward that. So this is a very, very good card. This is really very much about you determining what really lights you up and really excites you. And that is really key. Whenever you find yourself being excited about something, that is your higher mind telling you, go here, do this, do that. It's very much about you allowing yourself to feel really, really lit up with life and with love and vitality. And that's what this card is all about. You want to follow your excitement always, like a breadcrumb trail. If it excites you, then do it. But you got to do it with integrity. And what I mean by that is if you have commitments, like if you're excited about going to, going shopping at 1 o'clock and you have a deadline, well, obviously don't, go shopping at 1 o'clock because you have your deadline. So with integrity, you integrate all of the things that really matter to you. You integrate your values. And by doing that, then you can follow your excitement and really live a life second to none, which you deserve. Happy new moon solar eclipse, Leo. I will see you soon. Virgo, happy new moon solar eclipse. This new moon solar eclipse is hitting your 4th house of home and family. So if you've been thinking about moving or you've been contemplating a move, this might be the eclipse that actually gets things going in that regard over the next 6 months. The 4th house, of course, isn't just about home. It's where we nest and rest. It's about internal security. It's about emotional self-trust. It's about feeling at home within the self. So before you move, and if you, especially even, of course, if you don't move or don't want to move, it's all about allowing yourself to feel really at home, to really allow yourself to find that place of peace within. As we spoke about before in another reading here, that everything winds up happening in the consciousness first. Everything happens in the psyche first, and then the reality takes shape. So in terms of a new home, for instance, you would want to maintain that sense of like self-trust and that sense of inner peace and that sense of nesting and resting first before you go on that journey to find the best new home for you. So this solar eclipse is all about you allowing yourself to establish a stronger sense of self-trust, a stronger sense of emotional security, whatever that might be. There's different things that are going to make you feel secure, that are going to make other people feel secure. Some people feel secure when they're in a relationship. Some people feel secure when they have $1 million in the bank. Some people feel secure when they have a full-time job. Some people feel secure when they are creating something on a regular basis. You got to find your secret sauce. Like, what is it that makes you feel yummy inside? What makes you feel just so cozy and comfortable? Because that's what this solar eclipse is all about for you. Over the next 6 months, you're supposed to feel really at home within the self. So you have to find out what it is that makes you feel emotionally secure, and then allow yourself to create from that spot. So even if you're not moving, your home is a wonderful metaphor for emotional security, right? It's where you go to recoup and it's where you nest and where you rest. So even if you're not moving, you may want to spend the next 6 months redecorating or making your dwelling as comfortable as possible. But again, remember, it's all coming here first. So do whatever it is that you can to feel that sense of inner peace and allow yourself to create from that standpoint a home that is best for you. So let's see, Virgo, what you get for your new moon solar eclipse that's in your 4th house. Justice. So this is a great card. So the Justice card is really about making decisions that you make and that other people make. So over the next 6 months with this new moon solar eclipse, the Justice card is talking about looking at your life and seeing what might be imbalanced or how you might be able to balance things and make things feel more right. Justice is what really separates us from the animal kingdom, is our need for justice, our sense of fairness. So you may want to look at the different areas of your life and to see whether or not things are balanced. In light of this transit, you're going through a 4th house transit now. The opposite of that is the 10th house, which has to do with career. So, with this card, it's important for you to look at, are you balancing your 10th house stuff, which is about career, public standing, reputation, status, position, honors, how we appear, and keeping up appearances is a huge aspect of the 10th house. Whereas the 4th house is all about truth. It's all about how you really feel and your connectedness with other people, and your feelings of vulnerability and feeling safe and nourishing yourself and nurturing other people. So the two are opposite. You could look at the 10th house as your professional goals in life, the highest place you can reach career-wise. And you can look at the 4th house is where you return and where you came from. So you want to make sure that those two are balanced. You also want to remember with the Justice card that justice is, you have to get your own justice. So if you feel as if you've been, disenfranchised in any respect, or you feel as if you've gotten the shorter end of the stick, the Justice card is about you saying that you need to allow yourself to create justice in the world. We get things energetically, of course, through action, but before that, it comes with a really strong sense of worthiness and deservability. So you get really what you think you deserve in a lot of respects. And that's really what you subconsciously are. So overall, Virgo, look at your life and look where there may need to be some adjustment or some balance that's being made. In pertaining to real estate, over the next 6 months, just do what you can to make sure that you're getting a fair deal. And I really would make a deal with the universe, especially pertaining to self-trust, emotional security, home, stuff like that. The Justice card also, on a light note, is all about balance and aesthetics. So, in light of your 4th house, maybe spend some time over the next 6 months really beautifying your home. Happy new moon solar eclipse, Virgo. I will see you soon. Libra, happy new moon solar eclipse, which is hitting your 3rd house of communications. So the 3rd house is very, very broad. It's about communications, and it's about everything from thinking and learning to your siblings, your neighbors, your immediate environment. But the most important person that you'll ever communicate with is yourself. So over the next 6 months, you probably will make some really great headway in regard to your self-talk and the way that you address yourself, because we get in life what we believe we are. Our lives are really determined by our beliefs, and beliefs are really just thoughts that you keep on thinking. So over the next 6 months, if you do anything, just do whatever it is that you can to cultivate that self-talk that is very empowering, that leads you toward your goals. With that in mind, this solar eclipse is probably going to bring you some news. It could be news around a sibling. It could be news around your social interactions. And it also could be about you really learning something new or teaching something new over the next 6 months. So it's all about getting your brain in order and getting your life in order so you are able to think really clearly and logically and make decisions that are very, very empowering and positive for you. So do whatever you can over the next 6 months to move forward with that sense of clarity. You know, in this wonderful book called Love is Letting Go of Fear by, I think, J.M. Polsky. But essentially, it's based upon the Course of Miracles. It's a watered down version of the Course of Miracles. But in it, the author suggests that we have one goal, and that's peace of mind. So if you can allow yourself to develop that peace of mind, then you're going to find everything just works out so much more beautifully for you. That being said, expect news over the next 6 months and expect your ideas to change and to grow and to expand. And you may want to go back to school. You may want to take up a course. You may want to really move forward with writing or speaking. Those are very strong third house things. So if you're a writer and you have a manuscript that you want to put out there, or if you're a speaker, you have really great ideas, you may want to broadcast. So keep all of that in mind, because those things, publishing and broadcasting, are particularly good for the Sagittarius new moon solar eclipse. So keep that in mind. Let's see, Libra, what card you get for your new moon solar eclipse. Temperance. Isn't this cool? So the Temperance card is actually reminiscent of Sagittarius, where the new moon is on the 14th. So Temperance is a combination of patience, tolerance, and temperament. So it's about really, at the end of the day, finding the right combination of things to make you well and happy. The Temperance card talks about you having just this incredible enthusiasm and this eagerness for life. And it's a card that's extremely lucky. It's really about you allowing yourself to approach life, you know, with open arms and to just really feel good. When it comes to third house stuff, the Temperance card is really cool because this card, it's like having a conversation with someone, and it's just so refreshing. And you just feel as if either their, you know, glimpse into the universe is just so beautiful and refreshing and opens up your mind, or you feel as if they really get you. This is just really, at the end of the day, it could be just an amazing conversation or series of conversations with someone that you just feel so connected to and so blessed to have in your life. So that's reminiscent of communications, the Temperance card, but it's also, again, it's ruled by Sagittarius. So there are ties to publishing, broadcasting, expansion, allowing yourself to really grow and learn. But this card is very, very, very auspicious for you over the next 6 months. It's really about, at the end of the day, maintaining that even flow of feelings from you, no matter what it is that you're feeling. Libras have a tendency to go along, to get along. They usually suffer in silence, and then they just explode. Like when a Libra gets mad, they leave nothing unsaid because they've spent so much time acquiescing that when, you know, that final cherry hits this hot fudge sundae, the top of the sundae, they just explode. So with this card, it is about maintaining that even flow of feelings, no matter what it is that you're feeling. If you're happy, mad, glad, sad, but flowing with your feelings. Like Sagittarius with the Temperance card, it can be very frank. So we're not saying that you need to be as frank as Sagittarius. You're too diplomatic for that, but it is about maintaining the flow. Running water never goes stale. So do whatever it is that you can to flow with your feelings, no matter what they are, in constructive, beneficial ways. You just don't want to harbor resentment or anything negative in your body, because that can create dis-ease. So you want to maintain your flow of feelings that you have, even the good ones. And if it's not appropriate, like you can't really tell your boss, if you have one, to take a hike, right? And maintain your job. But you can, write a journal entry about how much you hate his guts and why you hate his guts. And I'm not saying you should, hang out in that dirty bathwater and nourish negative feelings. But with this card, it is saying that you do need to acknowledge them, and you need to keep the flow, because when you're allowing yourself to flow, you're allowing yourself to grow. So keep that in mind, Libra. I hope you have a wonderful new moon solar eclipse, and I will see you soon. Scorpio, happy new moon solar eclipse, which is hitting your second house of money, something that you like a lot. Not that it's a bad thing. Money's great. Your sign, Scorpio, is actually ruled by Pluto, the god of wealth. And the reason why Pluto is the god of wealth is because all the riches, the precious stones and diamonds and gold and just these really, really rare minerals, they're all actually underneath the Earth's surface. And of course, so are the dead. So is Pluto, god of the underworld. So you are connected to that energy. You're very much connected to the dead. You're very much connected to wealth. So this second house, which is about money, is an opportunity for you. This solar eclipse is an opportunity for you to really allow yourself to dig deep, to really allow yourself to express what has heart and meaning. Because when Scorpios do that, that makes money. It does. I've seen it a lot of money. So connect to the earth, connect to your power, your natural power, and even allow yourself to call upon your ancestors or call upon people who have passed. Like, they are there for you and you are connected to them anyway. So you may as well utilize their resources. This new moon, solar eclipse in your second house can make you a boatload of money over the next 6 months. Certainly can be very good for your prosperity. You want to allow yourself to make sure you're expressing what has heart and meaning, and making sure you're expressing your voice. So the voice, the throat, is ruled by Taurus, and that's your opposite sign, and that is really your value. So the more you allow yourself to express yourself, especially your heart, the more money you will make. So maybe allow yourself to really develop your talents over the next 6 months. You're likely to make a lot more money, but if you want to shortcut that, you want to allow yourself to make sure you're following what has heart and meaning and really expressing your voice. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to talk, but it does mean that you need to express yourself in some capacity. And even if you don't, professionally sing, I would really sing more if I were you over the next 6 months, in the shower, when you're exercising, whatever, because that's going to open up your throat chakra and help you make more money, which is the name of your game for this solar eclipse. Additionally, it's not just about money, it's about self-worth, and money really is just it's a measuring stick for a lot of people. But at the end of the day, the second house is about your values and your worthiness and your self-worth. So do whatever it is that you can over the next 6 months to make sure you're feeling very valuable, that you're treating yourself like gold, and that you're also demanding that you be treated like gold yourself. I always say, to my clients, how would you act if you were the most valuable woman in the world? Would you still put up with this? And usually the answer is no. They wouldn't still put up with it if they were the most valuable woman in the world. So you want to use that as a litmus test. If you're the most valuable person in the world, would you still be doing this? So keep that in mind and really just express your voice as much as possible over the next 6 months. But let's see what card you get for your new moon solar eclipse, Scorpio, that's in your second house. Judgment. Well, this is an awesome card for you to get. So this is gifts given and received. If you notice in the card, the angel blows his trumpet and awakens the dead. So funny, we were just talking about that, right? It awakens the dead from their graves, and really, it's akin to the sleeping states that are within us at times. Sometimes we are asleep. But the Judgment card is about hearing a call. You hear that trumpet, and you're sort of catalyzed, and something that is deeper within you comes about, and you realize something that you hadn't realized before. That's what the Judgment card is. It's an awakening to something that you hadn't realized before. This card is also about you taking a definite step. It's like hearing the call and being like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I need to do. And it's about taking a definite step. This card encourages over the next 6 months for you to be very judicious in your decision making. If you have to make a decision, the more carefully you weigh the pros and cons, the better the outcome with this card. Overall, this card too is about really allowing yourself to connect with, higher energies, your higher self, the part of you that has no beginning and that has no end, like the angel or the dead people in the card. It's very much about you allowing yourself to be in proximity to the muse, to allow yourself to hear that call. And over the next 6 months, with this card pertaining to your solar eclipse, expect gifts given and received. The Judgment card is often about something that everybody wants, and it's usually about good judgments for you. So in terms of your work, you may want to really put yourself out there and let yourself be heard, let your work be viewed or seen, because this card would indicate that you're going to be just really appreciated and really valued, and that there could be a lot of judgments that are in your favor. But in order for that to happen, you've got to allow yourself to be judged. So I think that's the main message for you, Scorpio. Trust what has heart and meaning over this time, and express yourself fully, but allow yourself to be judged, because the judgments, they seem to be very, very good for you. So keep that in mind. I hope you have a wonderful solar eclipse new moon, Scorpio, and I will see you soon. Sagittarius, this is your new moon solar eclipse. It is in your sign. So you are the big star of the show, this eclipse, because this new moon solar eclipse is hitting your first house of identity. So this is the I am aspect of your chart, the first house. So that statement, I am, is so important. Like whatever you put after that I am, whatever you fill in the blank with, that's very important. That's why people shouldn't be like on Facebook, I am sick. Well, why would you announce that to the world that you're sick? Or I'm so stupid. Like, why would you do that, right? I know we all do, but essentially that I am statement is super important, because you're declaring yourself, you're asserting yourself. And that's what this new moon solar eclipse is. You're asserting yourself anew over the next 6 months. And this could be a brand new identity for you. And the first house has to do with identity, and it also actually has to do with your personal appearance, like the first impression that you make, compared to the 10th house, whereas that's about how the world sees you by virtue of your occupation. But the first house is how people perceive you on a first impression basis. Hi, how are you? Their first impression of you. And that really, it may sound shallow, but the presentation that you project is very reminiscent of how you see yourself. So during this time, you may decide to really change your look. The fact of the matter is that all changes take place in consciousness first. You have a change in your psyche, and then that is outwardly expressed. So though the first house has to do with identity and presentation and how you look on a first impression basis, it is really a lot more deeper than that. So if you, for instance, want to be a certain way or look a certain way, you would need to create that change in your consciousness first. I think Abraham Hicks says, you can't feel fat and get thin. You can't, feel poor and get rich. So it all starts really with that feeling state. And at the end of the day, really, it's all about the comfortability you have with these things that you say you want. People who, you see this all the time, right? I want a relationship. I want a relationship. I want a relationship. I'm so lonely. And then the person isn't doing anything to put themselves out there to get in a relationship. Well, they think they want a relationship, but they really don't, because their actions say that, right? So my point is that whatever it is that you want to create over the next 6 months, it starts with you being comfortable with it. It starts with the change in your consciousness. And then from there, you can actually change your reality. So this new moon solar eclipse for you over the next 6 months, it's really a wonderful time for you to just become more of who you are. That's what, Nietzsche said. Like, it's not about, you becoming somebody else, that you're not good enough as who you are, but whomever you want to become is really who it is that you are. It's expressing more of yourself, expressing more of your soul. So for this new moon, everything is on the table. Like, whatever it is that you want, right? It starts with your identity. If you want a new job, well, you have to be that person that could get this new job. If you want a higher salary, you have to be that person whose energy speaks of having a higher salary, who has a boyfriend, somebody who is open to that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So think about whomever you want to be over the next 6 months, who's really who you are, and allow yourself to start practicing what that might feel like. It often helps to just look at somebody who has what it is that you might want and say, okay, well, how does this person feel? What does this person believe about themselves? Because that's really key. First, you make your beliefs, and then your beliefs make you. So whatever you want this new moon solar eclipse, it is yours. But you have to, as Neville Goddard said, you can have whatever it is that you want so long as you already have it. I don't know if he actually said that, but that's his philosophy. So what that means is you have to feel as if you have whatever it is that you want, and then you allow yourself to take inspired action, and then through law of attraction, you create it, you manifest it. And again, it happens in the psyche first. The Sagittarian plight is that they can think too much. And when you think too much, you lose choice. So one little trick that sometimes works, I know it's worked for some people, but say you're like at nighttime, right? When you're like going to sleep and your head just keeps spinning because finally you have time to like relax. And of course, why would you, not spend that time obsessing about things? But if you put your thumb or your finger and your third eye chakra right here, and you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, that will help settle you, deep breathing. And by the way, before you go to sleep at night, that is the most important time to think positively, because whatever you're thinking about before you go to sleep, your subconscious sort of like seals it, and you marinate in it throughout the whole night. So always, either meditate or just visualize in your head, good feeling thoughts or things that feel good. But let's see what you get. What you need to know, Sagittarius, for your new moon solar eclipse in your sign. Aww, this is so cute. You got the pleasure card. So this is 6 of Cups. If you notice, in this card, you have this little girl who looks like she's smelling a flower and giving it to this other little girl who's smaller than her. And it's 6 of Cups. So this is about simple, innocent pleasures. It's like doing a good turn for another. I mean, in our dog-eat-dog society, it's very much like, well, if I'm going to do that for him, what's he going to do for me? Right? It's all about this quid pro quo and making sure that, that we're getting stuff back, that we're getting our comeuppance. But with this 6 of Cups, it's about really the concept of giving is receiving. And it really is, if you think about it. I mean, the worst thing that somebody can do when you give them a gift is like, I can't take it. I'm sorry, I can't take it. It's like they're robbing you of the opportunity to give them something, even though, there were no strings attached, etc. Anyway, my point is with Six of Cups, it's very much about you allowing yourself to enjoy simple, innocent pleasures. Oftentimes, this card has to do with the past. So if there's somebody in your past with whom you experienced, just simple, innocent pleasures. It could be a romance, it could be a platonic thing. Maybe reach out to them. Maybe this person is actually somebody who could be in your future. And over the next 6 months, that could be really great for you. Additionally, even if it's not pertaining to the past, although this card often is, it can be about you allowing yourself to be open to new relationships. So the Six of Cups is not about getting hitched, all right? It's about the beginning stages of a romance in which you do not want to commit to anything until you are sure. You want to allow yourself to enjoy, again, those simple, innocent pleasures. I think with the COVID stuff that we've had going on, like this is really bringing us back to traditional romantic values in the sense that we can't see people, right, as much as we used to, and we have to be very judicious with whom we spend our time. And it really is an opportunity for us to talk on the phone more, to, do what we may have done maybe back in the 50s, get to know someone before hopping into bed, or get to know someone before, even going on a date with them. I know that like back in the day, we used to spend so much time talking on the phone, at least I did. And I think that, it's something that is just really, really great. You get to really know someone, and then, when you actually get to connect with them, it's even more, it's even deeper in some respects. So in any case, what this card is saying to me is that the secret for your next 6 months, a lot of it has to do with the past. It's tied to the past. So that doesn't mean it necessarily has to be a person from the past, but it has to be about feelings from the past that you may want to experience again. Maybe you think that your greatest days are behind you. Well, that's not true. I mean, unless you believe it's true, of course, then it is true. But anything that made you happy in the past, that's key to your next 6 months. So I wish you a wonderful new moon solar eclipse, Sagittarius, and I will see you soon. Capricorn, happy new moon solar eclipse, which is hitting your 12th house. So this solar eclipse that's going to be in effect for the next 6 months is really about you allowing yourself to catch up on your rest. The 12th house is very much about privacy, seclusion, being alone with yourself. The most important thing I think about the 12th house is the fact that it rules the subconscious, because in life we get what we subconsciously believe that we are. All changes start in consciousness and the psyche first. So whatever it is that you want to manifest, you have to, believe that you already have it, and then you create it, right? But what this means is for the next 6 months, it's a very, very fertile time in the sense that you want to allow yourself to become comfortable with whatever it is that you want to manifest. In a lot of respects, whatever we get in life, it really is a measure of our comfortability. You want a relationship? Well, if you're comfortable in a relationship, you kind of would be in a relationship. If you were comfortable with like $20 billion, you probably would have $20 billion, right? It's all about our comfort level. So what you want to do over the next 6 months is really nurture your subconscious by painting the pictures in your head of the things that you want to create, the things that you want to manifest in your life. Additionally, let's face it, the 12th house is a little bit boring. It's about, spending time alone. It's about allowing yourself to really indulge in spirituality. Not that that can be boring, but it's not, active. But I think for you guys, especially with, Saturn, Jupiter, and Pluto, all in Capricorn, I mean, you guys have had a lot to deal with. I mean, it can be a bit much, those like powerful planets in your sign for so long, a few years now. So the thing is that you want to allow yourself this solar eclipse over the next 6 months to train yourself that it's okay to relax, train yourself that it's okay to be happy, that it's safe being happy, that whatever it is that you want, it's safe having a lot of money, it's safe being in a relationship, it's safe being loved, it's safe loving people, whatever it is that you want, you just got to train your subconscious. That's really the big deal. And I know it might sound to some people as if it's sort of like, give me something tactile to hold on. Well, this is truth, okay? You need to train your subconscious to get whatever it is that you want. Like, it starts in the subconscious. So definitely do that over the next 6 months. You may want to enjoy self-hypnosis. You may want to listen to those, beats that they have. There's so many things on the internet now. I mean, very important. So keep that in mind. And also just take it down a notch. Definitely rest. I know your birthday's coming up. And in a lot of respects, a 12th house transit before your birthday, it's very important because when your birthday comes up, it's going to be a first house transit. It's like you jumping out of a cake and be like, here I am. But before you jump out of that cake, you have to sort of create that cake. And that's what the 12th house is about. Like, what ingredients are you putting into this cake? What is your diet like? And I say diet, not just food diet, but like, are you only watching this type of movie? Are you only reading these types of magazines? Are you only hanging out with this group of people? So you want to allow yourself to vary your diet and have a healthy diet, a nice balance of things to make you well or happy. Then, the ingredients that you have in your cake, they're just going to be beautiful. And when you jump out of it for your birthday, things are going to be great. So definitely spend this time before your birthday nesting and resting, giving yourself that peace, taking extra good care of yourself so you can have a really, really great solar return. So let's see, Capricorn, what card you get for your new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius. The Star. How nice, Capricorn. I'm so glad you got this card. You guys really need a break with all those planets in your sign. So the Star card is wonderful. This is about great hopes for the future. It's about just being really inspired. And it's really about allowing your star to shine. Like, whatever lights you up, allow yourself to enjoy it. You always want to follow your excitement like a breadcrumb trail with integrity. What that means is that essentially you want to allow yourself to follow your excitement while, adhering, of course, to your responsibilities, because that's integrity. That's integrating the things that matter to you. But the Star card is really, really good. So over the next 6 months, you're probably going to allow yourself to really not just shine, but to be inspired. The Star card is not just allowing your star to shine, but it's also about you allowing yourself to connect with people that think like you think, people of like-minded interests, people who can help you become more of who it is that you are. This card can make us a little bit detached because we're inspired, right? So this is a really great card for friendship, for spending time with groups of like-minded people who have the same thinking that you do, people of like-minded interest, but it's also, about allowing yourself to do things that are innovative and different. I think with Saturn and Jupiter entering Aquarius, the 21st, this is a big deal. And I think that, you've worked so hard, most likely, over the past few years, that now is the time for you to get that relief to, know that brighter days are ahead. And I think Capricorns, there's a very thin line between being realistic and pessimistic. And Capricorns, in my experience, toe that line quite a bit. So this card is really saying that you have hope here. You have really great hopes for the future. So don't throw trash on your trail. Like, make sure that you allow yourself to see a brighter day, and don't prepare yourself for the other shoe to drop. Like, prepare and expect the best. Expect really great things to happen. And, that energy is going to come off of you, and it's going to broadcast that, and you're going to get more of it. So have a wonderful solar eclipse new moon in Sagittarius, Capricorn. This is a really great card. Let your star shine. Aquarius, happy new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius. This is a big deal for you because or you may have heard that Jupiter and Saturn are entering Aquarius on December 21st, which is going to make you hot ticket. Pretty big deal. So keep that in mind. Prepare yourself because there's going to be a lot of energy focused on you and what you can do, especially as we move into spring. This new moon solar eclipse is actually hitting your 11th house of hopes, dreams, wishes, ideals. This is the house of why not. So the philosophy is that there are no dangling carrots in the universe. If you want something, that comes with the built-in ability for you to achieve it. So allow yourself during this new moon solar eclipse to think back perhaps to what you had wanted to be when you were a kid before, you were told that you couldn't be that. Maybe think back to your old dreams, your old goals, and allow yourself to resurge them over the next 6 months, because this is the time for you to really allow yourself over the next 6 months to shine as much as possible and to nourish the world with knowledge, to nourish the world with you. That is what Aquarius is about. It's the water bearer. And although they are detached and not extremely emotional, they carry this urn of water and they are able to nourish humanity with it. So over the next 6 months, especially with this 11th house transit and your the conjunction in Aquarius, really look at what it is that you have to offer and how you, in a very, very effortless way, can nourish the world with what it is that you have to offer. The 11th house transit is also really good for friends. It's good for connecting with people of like-minded interests, those groups, right? Aquarius is really all about the group. They are, they want their friends to be happy. They want other people to be happy. Like that's what really, at the end of the day, makes Aquarius happy, is to make sure that their crew is happy, to make sure that their groups are happy, and to feel connected to society or a microcosm of society, like a small group of friends. So this is the time to really allow yourself to connect with groups that really inspire you and that you feel really connected to. And it's also a time to, of course, think about your greatest hopes, dreams, wishes, and ideals, because over the next 6 months, you have a really good chance of making them happen. So don't think yourself out of it. If you want something, if you think it could make you happy, then go for it. Keep in mind too, that dreams change. So it might be a time over the next 6 months in which you're rearranging your dreams and you're looking at your life from a different vantage point and being like, okay, well, I know I had wanted this and I was working toward this, but now this might be better. This might feel better. This might be more compatible with who I am and who I want to be. So keep all of this in mind. Let's see what card you get, Aquarius, for your new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius. Hierophant. All right. So it's funny you're going through an 11th house transit, which pertains to the group, because the Hierophant does too. There are a lot of meanings, right? But one of which is the group. The Hierophant is about following protocol, like what is expected. Follow the leader. And that might be a very important thing for you in the sense that if you decide to engage in different groups, to become part of a society of sorts, even if it's like a club or a class, that it's going to be important for you to allow yourself to follow the leader. Now, I know there are a lot of planets that are going to be going into Aquarius, or Jupiter and Saturn will be going into Aquarius, which is very much about going against the grain and being a rebel. But with the Hierophant, it's important for you to follow the rules. So think about what your hopes, your dreams, your wishes, and your ideals are during this 11th house transit, but also follow a certain degree of protocol. Like, we're not reinventing the wheel here. Whatever it is that you want, yeah, you can achieve it, but let's, maybe trust the tried and true would be the message here. The Hierophant is also about teaching and learning. It's about the principle of teaching and learning. So you may, over the next 6 months, want to attend a college or a university or take some classes or learn. Likewise, you may decide that you want to teach, that you want to allow yourself to share your knowledge with people, and that might be how you'll nourish humanity. In any respect, the Hierophant is a really good card. It is about really grounding yourself to your values. And I think that's the big message I want to leave with you today, is to determine your values. Sometimes they change, and you want to live a value-oriented life. If at one point money was the end all and be all, well, maybe now you're like, I kind of want more love. Or maybe it was, fitness was huge for you at one point. It was like everything. And now you're like, yeah, I kind of just want to enjoy myself and enjoy, my body, my food, whatever. But look at your values and just check in with yourself to make sure you're living a value-oriented lifestyle, because that is going to make you more valuable, and that's going to help you give more value to the world. Happy new moon in Sagittarius, Aquarius. I hope you really enjoy it, and I will see you soon. Pisces, happy new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius. This is going to be hitting your 10th house of status, reputation, and honors, how the world sees you. Really, things that I don't think that you give much care about. That is a compliment in the sense that I think the 10th house can be a little bit, it can be a bit pretentious. It can be very much like, well, I'm so grand and I'm so great and whatnot. And you guys, Pisces, are so, you're so spiritual, and you're so aware that we're all one, that we're, a drop of water in the ocean or something along those lines. You know what I mean? You're very much connected to humanity and the world at large, and you see yourself in other people, and you don't look at people through that lens of, well, this person has high status and that person has low. Like, you don't look through at life through a 10th house lens, thank God. You're just much more open and caring. But this transit for you is very much about the 10th house. It's very much about your standing in the community and how you might be able to serve, because that's an aspect of who you are, by your status, by your position, by the honors that you hold. So over the next 6 months, there's likely to be a change or a new chapter opening when it comes to your career, your professional public identity. And it's going to be important for you to determine, who it is that your public self is and how you want to serve the world. Like, what can you give to the world? If it's about, being the best mom that you can and enjoying your children and raising them as wonderful as possible to do a great job in the world, great. If it's about being, the best pilot in the world and to, teach other pilots, your great ability to fly planes, then that's great. Whatever it is, but really now is the time for you to spend as much time as you can in the public spotlight in a way that is most comfortable for you. So the 10th house over the next 6 months, this transit, it's very much about how do you want to appear in the eyes of the world by virtue of what you do. What do you want your reputation to speak? What do you want to be known for? When you pass, what do you want your obituary to say? I know it sounds a little grim, but you want to definitely determine over the next 6 months, not just how you want to be perceived by society, but what legacy are you leaving? It's important. The 10th house it's very much about, the responsibility that we have. And it's very much about allowing ourselves to be examples and to lead the way. So if there's any way in which you can lead over the next 6 months, this would be the time to do it. Professionally, if you are a professional person and you have a career that you want to thrive, well, this is an amazing transit. Really is. Like, you can really rise up the ranks over the next 6 months with this transit. It's all about just, being very Capricorn-like and taking, a step-by-step, methodical, pragmatic approach up that mountain. But I think the big thing for you is to determine, like, what mountain do you want to be at the top of? Where do you want people to say, she's the best? She's the best at fill in the blank. And that really should be what this transit is about for you. The 10th house is about being on top of the mountain. It's about being the best. And it's not necessarily, you know, nobody can be the best you that you can be. So even if you are an artist, you can't really say, okay, well, she's the best, you know, painter in the world. Well, I mean, it's completely subjective, but you know, within what she does, her realm, she is definitely one of the best. And in many people's eyes, she is the best. So it's about just being the best you can be, and allowing yourself how you want to serve humanity through your career or your reputation or even your legacy. So keep that in mind. If you are looking for a promotion, definitely go for it. Just make it happen. Really good things there. So yeah, let's see here, Pisces. What do you need to know for your new moon solar eclipse that's hitting your 10th house? Three of Discs. Well, I love this card, especially in light of you going through a 10th house transit. So the Three of Discs is about giving things the works, right? In this card, you got, well, three dudes, right? And they're working like on the design of a monastery. So it's really about teamwork and skill, right? Really giving things the works. So whatever it is that you want to manifest, this might be about bringing other people on board, you know, establishing a team. And also, you know, whatever project that you have, even if it's an individual project, giving it the works, you know, being responsible and, you know, showing up. You know, sometimes if you're on a team, it makes it easier for you to perform because you have other people that you're going to be letting down if you don't. So make sure that you're, you know, showing up as much as possible. I think with this card for your new moon solar eclipse, it'll be important for you to definitely think about the teams that you're on and who is on your team and who do you want to have on your team. And if you're working on an individual project, it's all about, you know, giving things the works and maybe even using your imagination. Like, you know, this is the logical part of you. This is the emotional part of you. This is the passionate part of you, and all aspects of you are going toward your goals. Additionally, this card is, it's about teamwork and competence. So do whatever it is that you can to make things happen for yourself, especially in regard to career, reputation, status, you know, getting what it is that you want out of life, being known for whatever it is that you want to be known for. Consider bringing other people on board and definitely give it the works. This is the new moon for you to really allow yourself to stand in the world and allow yourself to be extremely visible. It's just a matter, I think, determining now, what do you want to be known for? I think once you figure that out, like what you want to be known for, Pisces, then it's a matter of you give it the works. Like, okay, well, this is what I would have to do in order to make that happen. So happy new moon, solar eclipse in Sagittarius, Pisces. Thank you, and I will see you soon. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching today. If you like this video, please mount the like button. And I say mount because that's what Sagittarius wants to do. Wants to mount things. So keep that in mind, mount the like button and subscribe to my channel and even share this video if you're so inclined, because sharing is caring. If you would like a personal reading using tarot and astrology, of course, I do those too. The information is here, so you can hit me up and we can do a reading for you. Have a wonderful new moon solar eclipse in Sagittarius, everyone. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you soon.